Good afternoon, guys. I'm back with you guys. This is King Harp. I've been away for a little while, and I did another video the other day, another talk, soundbite. Right now, I'm going to shoot straight to the point. We're just going to go ahead and talk about this elephant in the room just transparently. We're going to talk about the illegal immigration and Black Americans, reparations for American Negro in terms of positionality and way we're positioned and how it exchanges and what goes on in that particular sector, and so forth. Now, you see, we're having a big problem with immigration and illegal immigration, as a matter of fact, not just immigration, but there's a system that's trying to make illegal immigration and other people from other countries' origin relevant in our country to the point that they are who we are. And that means free health care, different things that our nation has given us as an incentive by anchor. We're anchored here. This is our building. This is our blood. This is our historical value, our historical exchange. And it's not the other people. They come from other nations and they're seeking refuge inside a established country, an established society that's already been developed in terms of groups historically. And one of those groups happened to be my group because I'm a descendant of slavery. So the slaves built the country. So now we're pouring into another group to save them when the actual slave descendants are in the country, reciprocating disloyalty and subservitude exchanges throughout being left out of governmental incentives that which belong to us in terms of the Constitution. And that means the protected class citizenship. We actually, as slave descendants, we don't really have protected class. We don't have protected class citizenship. And I think a lot of people don't understand that and that really not aware of that. We're still dealing with Jim Crow elements, Jim Crow laws, so forth and so to speak. And we've been locked out of the wealth of the nation, which our ancestors were brought here to make one wealthy and to make a nation wealthy in terms of the institution of slavery and being a slave in millions and numbers of groups and so forth to bring wealth to the nation. Now, if you look at it, there were other groups that were imported here to be a part of the wealth, to help till the ground, to be a part of a elite group, which points to the actual slaves of servitude, and now it's in a business form. It's not necessarily field slaves working for free, but you're only working to survive. You're not working to accelerate, to catapult into any kind of capital. And this is not had anything to do with any individual's decision. This is political. Your political incentives have been gone unprotected, and your governmental incentives have been denied to you, and you've been ignored. And this is the reality of what's going on. This is not just me talking. These are facts. And if you look them up, if you look up our Constitution, and if you look up the fact that we were supposed to get these political incentives to be on an equal playing field, you will find yourself that it was never exchanged upon. So the law was passed, but it was never implemented. And Dr. King spoke on that. So in terms of that happening, now my group is suffering and also dying because of private crimes, killing each other, of anger and disdain, of not really existing as Americans, being exploited with every other idea that's dissocializing to a lot of people, uninviting, rap, hard gangster rap elements, just being exploited in every way, not really getting a chance to be astute politically, being shut out the room, because a lot of times when something bad happened to you in a certain arena, you really don't like going back. So because something bad happened to the slave descendant in the political arena, we choose not to deal with politics, and we choose to also go around with a social illusion saying we don't do politics, and that's impossible. There's no way you cannot do politics when you were politically shaped and politically positioned, politically anchored. You were politically a slave. You were politically set free from a physical form of slavery, and now you're politically able to access according to what the United States government have implemented for you, solely for you, in your historical disdain. So this is what politics is, your life. So when people say that they are not doing politics, I don't understand what I understand. That I'm speaking to someone who's 5 years old in terms of political um, political knowledge. They don't have any. because there's no way when you pay taxes, you're doing politics, okay? So don't say you don't do, if you don't do politics, they will do you. So that's really a very childish expression, but some people don't know any better, and I understand that. But this is time to wake up and understand that you can't say you don't do something that you automatically infuse to. That's like saying, I don't do walking, but you got to walk where you're going. I don't drink water, but you got to drink water to live. Politics is right next to being biblical. This is Caesar laws. If you look up, if you anybody spiritual and biblical, we already know that you are infused, you're trapped. It's like you're inside of feudalism, especially as a descendant of slavery. Now, in terms of legal immigration, and they're trying to make them relevant in this space here. This country was built by the people that are historically anchored here. It's developing because of that. And these other people come from other nations of countries' origin to seek refuge here is because of their government having a disloyalty for them and poor countries or so forth. And we're doing sanctions with their government and they're still inside of this. There's no preciseness to correct that if we allow people here over the heads of descendants of slaves and other Americans which have been disenfranchised, giving them capital, giving them loans, putting them in colleges. You're catapulting, you're forcing them to exercise a certain type of power over the natives and the real citizens of this society. And I mean, the real agents, and that is us. You got people over here, and you're setting up programs that automatically catapult them in their knowledge above the people that built this country in terms of knowledge and in terms of business camaraderie until it's a terrible disappointment. And we've worked hard, we've hurt, we've cried, we've bled. And you mean to tell me that the American government has done business because they want to save money, they got cheaper labor, and they've done contracts and business with other groups, and now as a loophole where it's exploited. So this is why I agree with the President Donald Trump. In my opinion, it's called lesser evils. Why would you want to get rid of the President Donald Trump right now when he's going against the very thing which protects Americans? Now, I agree with a lot of you. Some people that are immigrants are very nice people. They deserve a chance at life. However, that's not what's going on. It's a bigger picture. And that bigger picture is very relevant. That means that even though they're nice people, does not change the fact that there's evils involved. And that evil is that they are trying to take over our country and infiltrating our government and the ideology of the rule of law. And the rule of law, as a matter of fact. The rule of law is here to protect us, and in some cases, it would protect us. It'll work gloves for us, as the Constitution would, if we implement it. And as black people and descendants of slaves, we can have that implemented in terms of us being one unit and having a loud enough voice. We should cry loud and spare not. And that means all be on the same accord, if you ask me, in a more precise way. We have to make government work for us because government is also due to us. And it's not due to us because we ask, it's due to us because of who we are. We were born and bred inside the society as subservitude beings, as slaves. And someone else can come here and have gas stations on every corner in ghettos and hoods while black people continue to fight in province and be subservitude to the society, even with education. Because we have no capital. We haven't had a business camaraderie to exchange with big people and banks and militaries and so forth like that. We haven't been considered an elite group due to the fact that we have to deal with the benign neglect of government, especially the Democratic Party. This is what's really going on, if you really want to know the truth. And these illegals and these immigrants are coming over here owning grocery stores, gas stations, Chinese nail shop, all kinds of businesses. And they're catapulted into an elite status. And then their kids becoming doctors and lawyers and government officials and so forth. This is a very big threat. And if black people don't want to realize that in terms of being precise in politics, then we are in big trouble. It's not about being mad and being physical. It's not about being disrespectful because you already been disrespected. It's about being precise and very, very specific about this. This is a very good thing. So this is why I'm on board when it comes down to reparations. Reparations is a historical event. It's not just money. It's nowhere near just money. It's an anchor in terms of protected class citizenship, which we deserve as being people that were allowed and legally allowed to be abused and exploited. That's a shame. That's America's original sin, and it needs to be righted wrong and spoke out about an open apology and a historical event of reparations in terms of positioning and anchoring the heirs of those people inside a protected situation so that we can accelerate and exchange in our success for the safety of our family and community, because it has been damaged for that concern, a lot of damage. And we're in this squalor shade throughout this positionality of government, as a matter of fact. So that's what I want to discuss. I want to discuss that in illegal immigration, black people, you have no time to fight for anybody. We have to have self-preservation. And self-preservation is solely that. It has nothing to do with you being benevolent to other groups. It's a political war. When war is going on, the Bible tells you you cannot feed the enemy. It's not about being nice. You can give a person a meal or a sandwich, but you cannot clout for anybody who is necessarily trying to take your place in terms of safety. And this is what they're doing. And this is our home. We don't have any dual citizenship in Barbados. We don't have any dual citizenship in nowhere in South America. We can't go nowhere and seek shelter and be safe and have sanctuary. These people are doing that here because the big, fat, greedy supremacist that is in charge and have capital and land that they haven't given to the people whose true inheritance it belongs to, are exchanging with these groups in business for cheaper labor and to demise the experience of the American Negro. This is what's going on. And Donald Trump, as president, was speaking out loud about it, because now it's not just the slave descendants and black people that are hurt. They're now taking white people's jobs. Now they're becoming professionals, getting in government and starting to infiltrate the government. This is what's going on. So this is the reason why he chooses to say, okay, let's just get rid of these people. There's too many of them. I mean, they come in here like ants. Like really mountain here and sucking up the resources. And there's so many loopholes, you wouldn't believe it. I know this stuff. They're taking advantage of our system. They got people who are getting paid under the table $7,000 a week, $10,000 a week, and running companies because it's cheaper to pay them this way. And then the wife getting a voucher or a housing voucher for 3 or 4 kids and with a garage and everything, and living the high life and got trucks and everything, and starting to buy gas stations after they have, got loans and business loans and Wells Fargo favoring them. I mean, you can go on and on. You can go about the Arabs. The East Indians are also involved. I mean, even some of the Nigerians are involved. I mean, it's not about hating groups, but you're not at home. You're coming to my table and you're taking the valuable spread that I need as a nutritionist exchange of my body, my life, and giving it to yourself. And you left your own country to do it. And then you say something about me, but I think it's the other way around in terms of begging. Because you come here and get an education or come here and work from a free education from Trinidad or somewhere like that, and to live in my society, which is a developed society by my ancestors and which has been inventions done by my people. And in terms of me being produced here, I also have all kind of things in my blood, which that's the American Negro, because of our women being bed wenches. You have no idea of our story. And you're taking from the table that was spread by us, by our blood sacrifice, and giving it to yourself, and then trying to demise our experience in our home, which you know nothing about, because there's a head, there's a power source over us. There's the powers that be, which allow you to do that, to further demise the experience of the original people. We are natives of this country. We were born and bred here. And some of us were born, ancestors were born on breeding farms like cattle. But thank you for joining me, and I will leave this statement. Cut the check.